You're watching someone who's clearly wealthy spend money on something that seems completely ridiculous to you. Maybe it's a $300 haircut. Maybe it's hiring someone to clean their house when they're perfectly capable of doing it themselves. Maybe it's buying the expensive version of something when the cheap one works just fine. And you're thinking, that's exactly why I'll never be rich. I'm too smart to waste money like that. But here's the thing, you might have it completely backwards. My name is Zach, and I help people understand the counterintuitive money decisions that separate people who build wealth from people who stay broke, despite doing everything that seems logical. Because there are certain purchases that look stupid on the surface, but are actually incredibly smart investments when you understand what they're really buying. And the people who refuse to make these purchases often stay stuck precisely because they think they're being financially wise. Let's start with the most controversial one, paying someone to do things you could do yourself. House cleaning, lawn care, meal prep, basic home repairs. Broke people look at this and see wasted money. Why would I pay someone $150 to clean my house when I can do it myself for free? And mathematically, that logic sounds perfect, except it's missing the entire point. Here's what's actually happening. Let's say you make $75,000 a year as a freelance consultant. That breaks down to roughly $36 per hour if you're working full-time. But your actual valuable hours, the ones where you're landing clients, doing billable work, building your business, those are worth way more. Maybe $100 or $150 an hour when you factor in the long-term value of client relationships and business growth. Now you can spend 4 hours on Saturday cleaning your house, doing yard work, and running errands. That's 4 hours you're not spending on your side business, not learning a new skill, not networking, not doing anything that could actually increase your income. You saved $150 by not hiring help, but you cost yourself potentially $600 in opportunity cost if you'd used those hours productively. The wealthy person understands this instantly. They're not being lazy, they're not being wasteful. They're buying back their time and reinvesting it in activities that generate more value than the cost of the service. That's not dumb, that's strategic. And the person who refuses to make this trade because I can do it myself often stays stuck in a cycle where they're too busy with low-value tasks to ever build anything bigger. Second thing that looks dumb but isn't, expensive professional services. The $500 an hour lawyer, the $300 an hour accountant, the $200 an hour financial advisor. Broke people see these numbers and think, I'll just figure it out myself. I'm not paying someone $500 to do something I can Google. And sure, maybe you can Google how to form an LLC, or file your own taxes, or build your own investment strategy. But here's what you're missing. That expensive professional isn't just doing the task. They're bringing years of specialized knowledge that helps you avoid catastrophically expensive mistakes you don't even know exist. The accountant who saves you $8,000 on your tax bill through deductions you didn't know about just paid for themselves 4 times over. The lawyer who structures your business correctly from the start saves you $50,000 in legal problems 3 years down the road. The financial advisor who keeps you from panic selling during a market crash saves you potentially hundreds of thousands in lost returns. Wealthy people don't pay for professional services because they're lazy or stupid. They pay because they understand that expertise has value and mistakes have cost. The DIY approach feels thrifty, but it often ends up being the most expensive option when you factor in errors, missed opportunities, and the time cost of learning something that's not your specialty. Third purchase that seems wasteful, quality tools and equipment. The $1,200 laptop instead of the $400 one. The $800 office chair instead of the $100 one. The premium software subscription instead of the free version. Broke people see this as showing off or falling for marketing hype. The cheap version does the same thing. You're just paying for the brand name. But here's the reality. If you use something every day for work, the quality version pays for itself almost immediately. That $1,200 laptop doesn't freeze, doesn't crash during client presentations, processes work 4 times faster, and lasts 6 years instead of 2. You just bought yourself hundreds of hours of saved time and aggravation. That $800 office chair means you're not dealing with back pain that kills your productivity and costs you money in medical bills and lost workdays. The wealthy person does the math differently. They calculate cost per use, not just upfront cost. A $1,200 laptop used for 40 hours a week over 5 years costs about 12 cents per hour. That $400 laptop that needs replacing in 18 months and slows down your work cost way more in the long run. The expensive version is often the cheaper version when you think past the initial price tag. Fourth thing, investing in appearance. The $200 haircut, the $500 suit, the professional headshots, the wardrobe that's more expensive than necessary. To someone struggling financially, this looks like vanity, like prioritizing image over substance. But wealthy people understand something crucial. Perception absolutely matters in business and career advancement. Two people walk into the same job interview with identical qualifications. One is wearing a perfectly fitted $500 suit and looks polished. The other is wearing a wrinkled $89 suit that doesn't quite fit right. Who gets the offer? All things being equal, it's probably the first person. Is that fair? No. Is it reality? Absolutely. The same dynamic plays out in client meetings, networking events, negotiations, anywhere that first impressions matter. Wealthy people aren't spending on appearance because they're shallow. They're spending on it because they understand that looking successful makes you more successful. People treat you differently. They take you more seriously. They assume competence. That assumption opens doors that stay closed for people who look like they're struggling. Is it a $200 haircut or a $200 investment in how people perceive your credibility? The wealthy person sees it as the latter. Fifth purchase that seems idiotic. Experiences over things. The $3,000 vacation, the $500 concert tickets, the $200 dinner at a nice restaurant. Broke people look at this and see money disappearing into thin air. You could have invested that $3,000 and had $10,000 in 20 years. Instead, you've got some photos and memories. How is that smart? But here's what they're actually buying. Wealthy people understand that life quality matters as much as net worth. That $3,000 vacation might be where you decompress enough to come up with a business idea that makes you $100,000. That $500 concert might be where you network with someone who becomes a crucial business connection. That $200 dinner might be the date that leads to meeting your future spouse. Or maybe it's just an incredible experience that makes you happy and reminds you why you're working so hard in the first place. The person who defers all joy and experiences indefinitely, always saving everything for some theoretical perfect future, often burns out before they get there. Or they get there and realize they've spent 40 years being miserable in pursuit of a number in a bank account. Wealthy people balance building wealth with actually living, and they don't feel guilty about spending money on things that matter to them. Here's the pattern across all 5 of these. Wealthy people think about return on investment for everything, not just financial investments. Time has ROI. Energy has ROI. Relationships have ROI. Happiness has ROI. They're not asking, how can I spend the least amount of money? They're asking, how can I get the most value considering all factors including time, stress, opportunity, and quality of life? Broke people optimize for minimizing expenses in isolation. Wealthy people optimize for maximizing overall life value. And that often means spending money in ways that look stupid to people who are only looking at the dollar amount, not what that dollar is actually buying. So if you're someone who prides yourself on never wasting money on house cleaning, professional help, quality tools, appearance, or experiences, ask yourself this. Is that frugality actually serving you? Or is it keeping you trapped doing low-value tasks, making expensive mistakes, working with inferior tools, being taken less seriously, and living a smaller life than necessary? Because sometimes the smartest financial decision is spending money that looks dumb to everyone who doesn't understand what you're really buying. And the sooner you figure that out, the faster you stop being the person judging those purchases and become the person making them.